Welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for August 21st. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
Well, I'm going to lead off here with the Superior Nova. This is Nova number 7. This apparently has the Superior Spider-Man in it. Did I tell you this? Someone referred to Superior Spider-Man as a gimmick on Facebook, and I just defined gimmick, and Dan Slott told me to stop being a dick. I was like, gimmick's not a bad thing. And then I looked it up on Merriam-Webster, and it's an ingenious angle. Perhaps you're right, Dan Slott. Maybe it's not a gimmick. Never mind. So, I like Dan, though, but I just thought it was funny. Like, he had no problem. And he's right. I probably am a dick, but not that time.
Right.
Not in that particular instance, I wasn't.
You're a dick, but you're also right.
Well, doesn't that make you a bigger dick? Usually.
Yeah. Especially to the person who's wrong.
Well, he should be like, you're right, it is a gimmick, jerkwads. Like, you jerks don't even know what it means. It's an ingenious angle. Perhaps you're right. I've superior'd you all over again. So, we got Superior Spider-Man and Nova. I think this has been a great book. I think this is probably a fun one because, you got that Nova in the Superior, or the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. Yeah. So now they're giving us a little taste of that. Just trying to reflect what's going on.
And Nova's actually got a pretty long history with Spider-Man. I mean, way back in the original series they crossed over.
Yeah, so this should be kind of fun. I mean, it is big, bug-eyed, Superior Spider-Man.
In the wrong costume, though.
Right. Yeah, he's in like a regular Spider-Man costume with bug-eye lenses. Yeah. Whatever. I don't know. Nova's been a great book. I've been digging it, and I'm looking forward to reading that. I get a little taste of Superior from that, I suppose. Then I've got Indestructible Hulk. This is issue number 12, Agent of Time. Remember in the last issue I was saying that something had happened where he had to go back and mess around back in time there. And of course you asked, but isn't the time stream broken? Yes, it is broken, but shh, never you mind that for now. Then I've got, this is the same writer. This is also Mark Waid, but we have got Daredevil number 30. This is Mark Waid and Chris Samney. This has been great stuff, and it looks like Chris Samney gets a storyteller credit. So he's not his penciler, although he would be. He's just a storyteller because Javier Rodriguez gets colorist. So he must have done art and pencils, and he somehow gets credit for
maybe they did this
for having that part in it. Perhaps. Maybe they just had an idea and then just kind of go from there. But Daredevil's been a great book. We've got a Silver Surfer crossover, so should be neat. I don't know the last time I've had Daredevil crossover with Silver Surfer that I've seen, but been a great book.
I think Anna Senti had a crossover with Silver
Did she?
Surfer. Yeah.
Really?
Way back.
Well, she was doing good stuff on Daredevil then.
Yeah.
Now, now her stuff is weird. Green Arrow and True Blood and...
Yeah, I didn't read that stuff.
Then we've got, and I'm zipping through these a little quick. We got kind of a short week this week, so we're just going to, I'm just kind of moving along. Morbius the Living Vampire. Now this one I'm about 2 issues behind, which I should be catching up because we are getting to the end anyway. This is a story. It looks like I saw the Rose in there. So I don't know what he's up to. Should be kind of fun. I thought. Trying to remember who was. Yeah, I guess he was the one that was behind everything the whole time. So that was the start of that previous arc into the arc. But I don't know. I kind of like Morbius. It's too bad the title hasn't been able to survive yet again. Every time they try to do something with him, like, he's a B villain. Like, sorry guys, just let Spider-Man smack him around a little bit, and that's about the best you can get out of him.
Sooner or later.
Eventually, it just needs the right writer to come along and do something that no one's seen.
Or be in a movie.
Or be in a movie. Then I've got The Strain, The Fall, issue number 2. This I am primarily, kind of excited in my stack because I'm reading the novel right now. I had read the first novel, finished that. I just read 50 pages of this novel last night. I imagine I'll get to the comics when I get to them, but I'm just excited about this whole Strain thing. I mean, you got the novel, it begets comic books, and then you got a TV show coming up for FX, and Guillermo del Toro is going to be directing that pilot. You got a pretty decent cast in there already. Some of the casting is a little weird. It's when you're reading a novel, you're like, no, that's not who I saw at all. But, all right, whatever. So that's been pretty cool. Check out The Strain. Check it out in comic. It's been written by David Lapham, I believe, with art by Mike Huddleston. Looks pretty cool.
Nice.
But it's a cool story. Kind of vampires as a virus. The CDC are involved, and then this story starts to get more into the master and the spread. And
interesting.
Cool stuff. Then I've got Blood Brothers. This was a book that I liked that first issue. It was sort of an exploitation-y vampire thing. And then you got these guys going off.
Yeah, this is the big vampire week, isn't it?
It is another vampire. The only one that's not here this week was, what was the other one?
Daymen.
Yeah. Which just didn't chip this week, I guess. But it was the same stack last time around. But it was kind of cool, you know, sort of... I don't remember what the adventure was, but I remember they got to walk at the end. It's like, all right, let's do it. And they just wander off to go take care of what they got to take care of. It was very exploitation movie sort of feeling. And I like it. The art's kind of simple and you know, easygoing. I kind of, was that Dog the Bounty Hunter? I don't know. But I liked that first issue, and I'm excited about the next one. Then I've got Thief of Thieves number 16. This is, I believe, the second issue of Andy Diggle's story arc. You know, I like Andy Diggle sometimes. You know, his superhero stuff I don't always love. But I really like Thief of Thieves. This is a fun, you know, sort of, you know, a heist book. You know, you're building up the story with your main character here. And he's trying to save his son from going down the same path as him. And then you've got, you know, an agent who's trying to track him down and trying to frame the son and get involved in him. And it's kind of sort of interesting the way they've been able to do these story arcs by different writers, but keep an overarching story going too. And it's been strong, and I've liked it. So it's a good book. Definitely check this one out. Thief of Thieves number 16.
That kind of a TV show showrunner with other writers format.
Yeah.
That Kirkman pretty much must have picked up from working on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works on TV. So.
And this was supposed to be a TV show. I don't know if we're ever going to get that.
Yeah. Cool.
That is the bulk of my stack. What are you looking at?
I'm going to start off with Green Lantern New Guardians number 23. And like we had mentioned before, and no one's actually been talking about this, ever since the new creative teams have come on the book, all of the books have had variant covers that are pencil covers by Rags Morales. But like this one is actually variant number 13.
But they're not sketches of the actual standard cover.
They're completely different covers that are actually telling the origin of Relic. And I think this might be the Villain Month issue. I'm not sure. Just done out. But yeah, if you actually get all 13 covers together, they all have dialogue and war rooms. They're telling the story of this previous universe that Relic is from, where there are these things called lightsmiths, which are the equivalent in that universe of Green Lanterns, and how they use the emotional spectrum. So yeah, it's actually, all of these issues have been telling a story, which is kind of interesting. And that story is basically the story of Relic, who is the big villain, I guess, that's coming up, and kind of at the heart of the Lights Out crossover that's coming up.
So is his first appearance then on that first cover?
I don't know.
I don't know. Is that how you'd consider that? Or?
I don't know if he's on that cover or not necessarily.
All right.
Because like he's actually, I think he is on this one. So yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. His first appearance was actually on a variant cover that
telling his origin that nobody's talking about.
Yeah. So I don't know if the people who get the variant covers, if they're just not noticing it. I didn't notice it right away either. I didn't notice till about the 5th one. I was like, wait a minute, these all have numbers and these all have dialogue and they're not connected to the regular book. So yeah, DC is very sneakily giving you the origin before they give you the origin, and no one's talking about it except us.
Yeah, that's what you get on WeekNGeek.
Yep. But yeah, this has been a good book. I think this might be my favorite of the books, since the relaunch. Kyle Rayner is the White Lantern. We've got Star Sapphire in here, and yeah, they found Relic, and Relic is from a previous universe. Apparently, in that universe, somehow the Lantern Lights wound up destroying the universe, and so he's trying to prevent the destruction of this universe by getting rid of all the lanterns. And I know at some point during this big storyline that they've got coming up, one of the Lantern cores gets destroyed. I don't know which one, but odds are it's blue. There have been hints that it's blue. Which, of course, could mean that it's, DC saying there's no hope. So much for Superman, Man of Steel, and the S means hope. But in any event, next up is Justice League Dark, number 5 of 6. This is the Trinity War, part 5 of 6. This has been a good storyline overall. I mean, the basic premise is Superman, something has caused him to kill Dr. Light. But as they're going to examine Dr. Light's body, the body blows up. So there's all kinds of weird stuff. Someone is behind it. It all ties into the Pandora's Box, which goes all the way back to the DC Free Comic Book Day. Pandora and the Question and the Phantom Stranger. But overall, it's been good stuff. I don't know quite where it's going, but Jeff Johns tells a very exciting story. This is actually Jeff Lemire who's writing this book, but in conjunction with the other guys. This has been a fun story. I really like where it's going.
I was curious how their first crossover was going to work out.
3 big superhero teams fighting it out. You can't really beat that. And this is, of course, the mystical side of things. So we've got like Shazam versus Frankenstein. We got Deadman. And I believe... Oh, yeah, the last issue is the final issue. So nice quick storyline, too.
All right.
Next up, Superman Unchained number 3. This is the Scott Snyder, Jim Lee book. This has been a pretty solid book so far. In the first issue, we find out that the U.S. government has had some sort of superhuman for the last 75 years. In the last issue, Superman is basically at the mercy of the government, and this 75-year-old superhero pops up to save the day. And now it looks like we're going to get some more information about him, hopefully. So kind of a neat idea. Well, they start
together.
They're fighting.
There we go. There's a fight.
So they start off, they fight, then they team up because that's how it goes.
They always got to fight before they hug it out.
So yeah, this has been a pretty good book overall. Scott Snyder tells long, kind of complicated stories, so it's hard to tell in the early issues. But Jim Lee's still a great artist, and I'm still digging Superman. Even though some of the stuff in the regular books hasn't been as good, this is easily the best Superman book, at least out of the stuff that I read. Next up, Superior Spider-Man number 16. Well, it looks like the Hobgoblin bites it, but probably not because it's comics. But the Green Goblin had set things up so that Spider-Man's sensors that are all around the city can't see him.
Okay.
So he hacked into the system, and that made Hobgoblin invisible as well accidentally. But the Green Goblin wasn't too happy about that because he doesn't like the Hobgoblin because he kind of stole his shtick.
Right.
So then he switched it back on, and Octavius not only could see him now, he actually realized who he was, and he spilled the Hobgoblin's secret identity, and he's Ben Urich's son or nephew or something like that. So some interesting twists and turns. Certainly, we've got what is essentially a villain Spider-Man, although he doesn't view himself as the villain. I know you're not a big fan of it, but so far there have been enough twists and turns to keep me going. We'll see how long that lasts. Speaking of Trinity War, we've got the director's cut of Trinity War Part 1. The exact same story as before. It's got the entire script. But like I've said before, the reason that I get these director's cuts is because the artwork is all reproduced from the artist's pencils, and Ivan Rice is just a phenomenal artist. If you look at this, and you could almost just darken this and publish it because his pencils are so tight and so detailed and really, really gorgeous stuff. So if you're a fan of seeing penciled artwork, you really should pick up these director's cuts because they look fantastic.
They look pretty cool.
Next up, Batman 66 number 2. The first issue was a lot of fun. I picked it up digitally. I wound up forgetting to. That's one of the problems with buying digital books. I don't really remember to do it very often. So I actually don't know what's going on with this. But at least in the first issue, they did a really good job of capturing the tone of the old TV show.
Absolutely.
I know there are some things that they can't do. They can't put in some of the cameos because there's likeness issues and things like that. Although they did have a cameo from a public domain character in the last issue. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Batman TV show, which I am, I can't see how you're not at least giving this a shot because Jeff Parker has got the tone down. The this artwork seems to be a little less kind of out there and colorful. I don't know. I know a lot of people complained about some of the weird kind of 3D-ish color shifts that were going on.
It works. It works because of the whole psychedelic thing they're trying to present.
It's all very bright, colorful pop art, 60s stuff. And I think they're just doing a fantastic job.
I dig it. And Jeff Parker, here's the guy who was originally writing the Beavis and Butthead comic all those years ago.
I had no idea he wrote that. So yeah, if you're one of those people like me who's kind of like, why can't we have the Batman show on DVD or Blu-ray or something? Well, we still don't have that. Who knows if we ever will.
We get New Adventures.
But in the meantime, just pretend and pick this book up because it's a lot of fun. I was really...
Jimmy Stewart?
I'm sure legally no.
It sure looked like him.
I'm sure, legally speaking.
He's holding binoculars. He totally looks like the character from Weird Window over there.
I'm sure it's a coincidence, legally speaking. But yeah, this has really been a lot of fun. And yeah, if you're, like I said, if you're a fan of that show, pick it up because they've got it. They nailed it. Next up is a strange one for me. It's Legion of Superheroes number 23. I don't get the Legion normally. I picked up the first issue, I think, of the new 52 version and didn't really like it at all. I've not really liked the Legion in quite a while. I keep trying it, but this is the final issue. Legion has
just
been
didn't
canceled,
make it.
And they've canceled the Legion before. Usually there's already a plan for a reboot or a new Legion story in place. Now they're not. They're going with that Justice League 3000 instead. So this will be the first time in quite a while that there's really no Legion book out there. Plus, it's Paul Levitt's writing it. He's kind of probably the most famous Legion writer. But it's artwork by Kevin Maguire, who was supposed to do the Justice League 3000 book. And then he got booted and replaced with Howard Porter. So it's got great artwork, and I just want to see how they're saying goodbye to the Legion. Even though I'm not a Legion fan, it is really kind of a monumental thing. It's probably been 50 years that there's been at least
Has there always been some Legion?
I can't think of any time where if there wasn't a Legion book, there wasn't at least one being worked. There's always a couple-month gap.
Okay.
But as far as I can remember, they've been continuously working on a Legion book since at least the Bronze Age, when they spun it out of Superboy. So yeah, that's a very, very long time. And maybe they are working on a Legion book. They just haven't said. I have to imagine they are because it's a good property.
They had 3 books though going, and that was part of the thing that I think was rough on them. Like they should have just focused. And
this was another one like Batman and Green Lantern. When they rebooted the New 52, they actually didn't start the continuity over. The continuity was continuing from the previous reboot.
Gotcha.
Which was the 5th reboot or so. They do that a lot. That was the other problem. If you randomly pick up 2 issues of the Legion in the last 50 years, there's a good chance that they're 2 completely different teams and 2 completely different continuities. But in any event, I want to give it a shot. I want to see how Paul Levitz says goodbye to his baby. And Kevin Maguire's artwork is always great. It's really, even though I certainly will look forward to Howard Porter, who did a great Justice League with Grant Morrison, the idea of having more Kevin Maguire appealed to me a lot. So I know he's doing Guardians of the Galaxy, at least an issue of Guardians of the Galaxy for now, because Brian Michael Bendis had to say F you to DC.
Because they took John Romita?
Because he's kind of, good point. They're swapping artists. But in any event, yeah, if you're a Legion fan, this is probably sad for you. It's not really sad for me. I'm just curious. So that's my stack.
Well, I guess that takes me to the top of my stack here. I'm looking at, I don't know. I guess I'm wrapped up because Dexter's ending. As far as the season on Showtime, and we got Dexter number 2 from Marvel Comics. This is written by Jeff Lindsay, the guy who writes the novels. Mm-hmm. The series is only based on the first novel, Darkly Dreaming Dexter, but I guess there are 6, 7 of them, something like that. There's a number of novels. This is sort of interesting. They had to keep, resoliciting it because there were likeness issues. They couldn't make the characters look like they do in the show. Now, it's my understanding that in the book, Dexter does not talk to Harry. He has just a shadowy figure following him around that is his dark passenger. Now, in this, he's not talking to Harry. He's talking to his dark passenger. But in the book, he also doesn't use a syringe, but he does use the syringe in this. So there's some blending a little bit of some of the things.
Kind of a third continuity, I guess.
I guess it's more the continuity of the books. So I was told at one point a killer that he confronts in one of the novels does use the syringe, and he says, well, that's a neat idea. But then he never really embraces it, so maybe by the time he gets to this, he does. He's at a high school reunion, and he's reminded of a bully that used to sort of push him around when he was younger, and they had sort of a confrontation where Dexter almost tried to kill him once before, and then let him go, and they never talked about it. And then now, they've met at the reunion. Oh, Dexter was great. He got me off the bad path that I was on. Well, no, the guy's still a jerk-off. But something's going on, and it looks like Dexter may have to kill this guy again. He's some sort of real estate mogul. He's well known in and around the Miami area. And of course, if you watch enough Dexter, and read the newspaper, that you know everyone in Miami is apparently a psychopath. So it's a very scary place. It's scarier than the Wild West. It's like a psychopath amusement park down there. Again, if you read Dexter or the newspaper. It's kind of he's going to meet yet another guy who's a bad guy and have to take him down. I believe it's either 5 or 6 issues. I like the first issue. Excited about the second one.
Cool.
That's what I got.
Well, I'm going to go with, we had mentioned earlier, this is kind of a weird week. Nothing really stood out.
Nothing huge.
Nothing big. So I'm going to go with Avengers number 18. This is another Infinity crossover.
I love that cover.
Jonathan. Great cover. And actually, it looks like all the Infinity books are going to have a very similar trade dress with Infinity across the top pretty prominently. So this is Jonathan Hickman and Lino Francis Yu. I really like that first issue.
I haven't read all of it. I got about halfway through it and was called to other things, but I liked what I read.
Yeah, it's good. It's smart. It's a good kind of tight sci-fi story. Basically, there's something big heading for Earth, as there always is. And the Avengers
it's coming right for us.
The Avengers assemble a bunch of people to go out in space to stop it, as they always do. Iron Man staying behind with working on the contingency plan just in case.
All right.
But you've also got Thanos, who's kind of doing his own thing off on the side here. It was not. There's sort of two forces at work.
Okay.
They could be part of the same thing or not. Who knows? It's still early, but this looks like it's the Avengers fighting the Armada out in space. Big cosmic stuff. I'm sure it's going to end with some sort of big something.
All right.
This is we're in the midst of it. I've been waiting for this for a while. I've been waiting for this because God knows I'm a fan of Thanos and Marvel Cosmic, and I'm a sucker for event books. And Marvel's newest event has got me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's. I think this one is going to be a little bit more popular than some ones in the past because everybody's got their knickers in a twist about Thanos.
Yeah.
So rather than it just being the event, it's like the event with a focus for a lot of people.
Yep. And Jonathan Hickman.
I mean,
this is his first shot at a big. I know he.
Let's hope he can do it.
He wrote part of Avengers vs. X-Men, some of the good issues. But usually it's one writer handling the core book and then other people doing the spin-offs.
Yep.
It's the first time he's been the driver, and he's been good at pretty much everything else he's done so far with the first issue. Really great start.
Well, he actually had one of the Secret Invasion spin-offs. He had Fantastic Four Secret Invasion, and he used that as the launching pad for the FF story that he would end up writing. So because all that was tied in.
And all the stuff that he's been building since he left FF seems like it's feeding into this. So good stuff. I'm a huge fan of Hickman. I've never been a big Avengers fan. I probably like the movie more than I've liked a lot of the comics.
The current Avengers is here's the heroes of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way they've always treated Justice League. Hey, it's everybody.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm a little bit more into Avengers as of the last 10 years because it's just here's the Marvel Universe book.
Yeah. Here are the guys who take care of the big problems.
Yeah, and that's been fun.
Yeah, and so far, and got great artwork by Lino Francis Yu. I don't think that's how you pronounce his first name. Last name is Yu.
You don't say.
But good stuff. Lots of big space battles and spaceships blowing up. I love that stuff.
So be sure to check these out. We want to mention one other thing. We're going to one more time. It's coming up September 4th. Hoax Hunters variant, Hoax Hunters number 10, with a cool WeekNGeek Comics and More exclusive variant featuring art by Mike Ortiz. Looks great. We got the starring
the two of us and the writers of the book.
Yep, Mike Morrissey and Steve Seeley, and we are playing with Hoax Hunters action figures on the cover.
In this store, yes.
The Punch-Out machine is the Bigfoot machine.
Well, it's the Earth 2 version of this store.
Yes, everything's a little bit different.
The wall colors are reversed, and Chris doesn't.
And there's one. I was going to say, are we going to tell everybody that? Well, if you come to the signing on September 4th, you can have Mike draw tattoos on your cover. So that is your Week in Geek.